Dale's Run. I'd been hauling reefer loads out of Denver for 14 hours straight, fighting to keep the trailer full of frozen beef from swinging on the icy switchbacks of US Highway 550, the $1 Million Highway, as it snakes through the San Juan Mountains of southern Colorado. February night, 20 below, wind screaming off the peaks like something alive and pissed off. The cab heater was dying, and every breath came out white. I was running on black coffee and the kind of exhaustion that makes the pines look like they're leaning in to whisper secrets. That's when I saw her. She stood under a single flickering sodium light at the edge of Red Mountain Pass, thumb out, wearing nothing but a thin hoodie and ripped jeans. No hat. No gloves. No backpack. Just a girl, maybe 15 or 16, pale as the snow piling up around her boots. Her hair was long and dark, moving in the wind like it had a mind of its own. Every trucker knows the rule: never stop for hitchhikers after dark in the mountains. Too many stories. Too many empty rigs found weeks later with the driver gone and the logs wiped clean. But she looked half frozen, lips blue, eyes wide and pleading. Something in my chest twisted. I told myself I'd just get her to the next town, drop her at the sheriff's office in Silverton, and be done with it. I pulled over. The air brakes hissed like a warning. She climbed in without a word, bringing the cold with her. The cab temperature dropped 10 degrees the second the door shut. "Thank you," she whispered, voice soft, almost childlike. "I'm Emily. I got separated from my dad on a hike. Phone died. Been out here hours." "Dale," I said. "You're lucky I came along. Another hour and you'd be a popsicle." She smiled, but it didn't touch her eyes. They were too dark. Too still. Like someone had turned the light off behind them. We rolled down the pass, chains clinking on the ice, the road a black ribbon between walls of snow-laden pines. She didn't shiver. Didn't rub her hands. Just sat there staring straight ahead. "You ever feel it?" she asked suddenly. "Feel what?" "The mountains watching you." I laughed, but it came out dry. Kid talk. Tired talk. She turned then, and for a second the dashboard lights made her face look wrong, too smooth, like a mask someone hadn't quite fitted right. "Slow down," she said. Up ahead, 3 shapes lay sprawled across both lanes. People. Unmoving. No wrecked vehicle. No skid marks. Just bodies in the snow, pale limbs twisted at impossible angles, faces turned toward us like they'd been waiting. My stomach dropped. "We have to help them," Emily said, but her voice had changed. Lower. Older. Hungry. I eased off the gas, brain screaming trap. I'd heard the stories, gangs using kids as bait, staging accidents, pulling drivers out and taking everything. Truck, cargo, life. "We'll call it in," I said, reaching for the CB. Her hand shot out and clamped around my wrist. Ice cold. No warmth at all. "Don't," she hissed. "They're my friends. They're hurt bad. Pull over." I tried to yank away, but her grip was iron. Impossible for a kid her size. In the headlights, one of the bodies moved. Slow. Wrong. It sat up. Neck bent too far. Face eaten away by frostbite, black holes where eyes should be. It smiled. Teeth too many. Too sharp. Another one stood. Arms too long. Joints cracking like branches in the wind. The third just lay there twitching, fingers digging into the ice like it was trying to crawl toward us. Emily leaned close, breath against my ear that smelled like frozen earth and old graves. "They've been waiting for someone warm," she whispered. "Someone with a big truck. Someone alone." I floored it. The Peterbilt roared. She screamed, not a girl's scream, something deeper, layered, like a dozen voices coming out at once. Her nails raked my arm, drawing blood that froze instantly. The things in the road didn't scatter. They rose. Stood in the middle of the highway, arms out, smiling with faces that weren't faces anymore. I hit the first one dead center. No impact. Just a burst of snow and darkness, like I'd driven through smoke. The second leaped onto the hood. Face pressed against the windshield, black tongue licking the glass, leaving trails of frost that spelled words I couldn't read. Emily was laughing now, pounding the dash with both fists, eyes rolled back white. "Stop and join us," she shrieked. "The mountains are hungry." I swerved hard. The thing on the hood slid off, tumbling into the night. 10 miles of pure terror. She clawed at my face, tried for the wheel, whispered things in my ear that made my skin crawl. My mother's maiden name, the dog I buried when I was 9, the wreck I caused in '97 that I never told anyone about. I kept the hammer down. Finally, the lights of Ouray appeared below, the little Swiss-style town nestled in the Box Canyon, sheriff's substation right on the highway. I slid to a stop in a cloud of snow, horn blaring. 2 deputies came running, shotguns ready. Emily went still the second they shone their lights in the cab. She was just a girl again. Shivering. Crying. Perfectly normal. "He picked me up," she sobbed. "Wouldn't let me out. Said he was taking me somewhere quiet." The deputies looked at me. Looked at the blood on my arm. The scratches on my face. I couldn't speak at first. Then I found my voice. "Check the road behind me," I croaked. $1 million highway. 3 bodies. They were waiting. One deputy stayed with us. The other called it in, took the snowcat up the pass. Emily kept crying. Real tears. Real fear. They found her an hour later. Real name was Riley Rains. 16. Escaped 3 weeks earlier from a juvenile facility in Grand Junction with 4 others. They'd been hitting truckers on the pass all winter. Luring them with a kid, staging accidents, robbing them blind. 2 drivers still missing. One found frozen in a ravine with his eyes gouged out. But here's what they never put in the report. When they searched the area where the bodies had been, they found 3 shallow graves under the snow. Old ones. From last season. Skeletons in orange jumpsuits, the original escapees who never made it off the mountain. Riley had been out there alone. 4 months. And whatever was wearing her skin now, wasn't Riley anymore. They took her away in cuffs, still crying. As the cruiser pulled out, she turned and looked back at me through the window. Smiled. With too many teeth. I quit hauling that week. Some nights I still wake up reaching for the wheel, feeling that ice-cold grip on my arm. And sometimes, when I'm dumb enough to drive the pass again, I see her. Standing under that same flickering light. Thumb out. Waiting for the next warm ride. The Whispering Rig. I was hauling a load of flat screens from Albuquerque to Barstow, rolling west on Interstate 10 through the dead heart of the Arizona desert. 3 a.m., moon hanging low and bloated like a corpse that wouldn't sink, painting everything bone white. The kind of night where the Joshua trees look like twisted hands reaching up from graves. My Kenworth, Ghost Rider, was the only thing moving for miles. Just me, the diesel growl, and the endless black ribbon of highway unspooling under my headlights. The CB had been dead for an hour. Nothing but static and the occasional ghost voice from 1,000 miles away. Then it woke up. Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, you out there, buddy? Clear as someone sitting in my passenger seat. I grabbed the mic. "This is Ghost Rider." "Go ahead." Low laugh, dry as coyote bones. "Saw you back at that Flying J in Deming. Nice new Michelins. Bet they cost you a pretty penny." My blood went cold. I'd put those tires on yesterday morning in Las Cruces. Paid cash. Told no one. Didn't even post about it on the trucking forums like some guys do. Who is this? I asked. Another laugh, closer now, like the mic was inside my cab. Just a friend. You alone tonight, Ghost Rider? No lot lizard riding shotgun? No co-driver snoring in the sleeper? I checked my mirrors. Nothing behind me but darkness and heat shimmer even though it was 30 degrees out. Yeah, I said slow. Solo run. What's your handle? Static. Then, soft as a snake sliding over sand. You ever hear them out here? The ones that never made it home? I turned the squelch up. Told myself it was just some asshole with a linear amp and too much time. But the voice came back anyway. Pull over at the next turnout, Ghost Rider. I got something to show you. Something you lost a long time ago. My little brother went missing on this stretch in '97. Vanished between mile marker 112 and 113. Never found the truck. Never found him. I floored it. 75. 80. 85. The engine screaming like it felt what I felt. The voice kept talking, calm as death. Remember that wreck outside Lordsburg? The one you walked away from? They didn't all walk away, did they? I'd lost my best friend in that pileup. Rolled 3 rigs. I was the only one who crawled out. My hands shook on the wheel. Then the headlights appeared behind me. No car at first. Just lights. Too high off the ground. Too wide. Like a semi, but black. No markings. No reflectors. Just 2 dead white eyes growing in my mirrors. It closed the gap fast. Too fast. The CB crackled again, and the voice wasn't coming from the speaker anymore. It was coming from the sleeper berth behind me. Slow down, Ghost Rider. Let me in. I looked in the cab mirror. There was a shape back there. Tall. Thin. Wearing a hat that cast its face in total shadow. Sitting on my bunk like it belonged there. I damn near ran off the road. When I looked again, the sleeper was empty. But the black rig was right on my bumper now. No driver visible through the windshield. Just darkness. It rammed me. Not hard enough to wreck me, but enough to make the whole trailer jump. The flat screens in the back shifted with a crash that probably cost me 10 grand. Again. And again. Each hit perfectly timed with the voice in my cab. Let me in. I saw the sign for the rest area at mile marker 88. One of those deserted ones with no lights, no cameras, just a crumbling building and a couple picnic tables for the ghosts. I had no choice. I took the exit at 90 miles an hour, tires smoking. The black rig followed. I slid into the rest area sideways, air brakes locked, horn blaring into the empty night. Another semi was parked at the far end. Old Peterbilt, rust eating through the paint, idling like it had been waiting. The black rig stopped behind me. Doors didn't open. Engine didn't shut off. Just sat there, headlights burning holes in my back. The door of the Peterbilt opened. A man stepped out. Old. Weathered. Wearing a hat just like the shadow in my sleeper. He walked toward me slow, boots crunching on gravel that hadn't been touched in years. I grabbed my tire thumper. Heart hammering so hard I tasted blood. He stopped 10 feet away. His eyes were milky white. Blind. But he was looking right at me. You feel it, don't you? He rasped. Same voice from the CB. The road keeps what it takes. Behind him, the black rig's headlights went out. When they came back on, it was gone. The old man smiled. Teeth too many. Too sharp. Some debts don't die with the driver. Then he turned, walked back to his Peterbilt, climbed in, and drove away. I sat there till sunrise. Didn't move. Didn't sleep. When a state trooper finally showed up, all he found were my skid marks and one set of fresh Michelins melted into the asphalt where the black rig had been. No Peterbilt tracks. No other vehicle. Just a whisper on my CB when I keyed the mic one last time. See you next run, Ghost Rider. I sold the truck that week. But some nights, when I'm dumb enough to drive I-10 again, I hear him calling my handle, telling me exactly what I'm hauling, and how lonely the desert gets after midnight. The Phantom rig. I eased my Freightliner off Interstate 40 just after midnight, somewhere deep in the New Mexico desert west of Albuquerque. The night was blacker than oil, stars sharp as broken glass overhead, air so cold it burned your lungs. I'd been pushing 14 hours straight, hauling refrigerated beef from Amarillo to Flagstaff, and my eyes were starting to play tricks, shadows in the sagebrush looking like figures waving me down. The rest area was one of those forgotten ones. No lights except a single dying bulb over the bathroom block, buzzing and flickering like it was breathing its last. Cracked asphalt, a couple picnic tables half buried in sand, and nothing but miles of empty desert in every direction. The kind of place where screams wouldn't carry 10 feet. Another rig sat at the far end. Old Mac, paint peeled to rust and primer, no markings, no mud flaps, like it had been parked there since the 70s. Cab dark. Engine cold. I killed my lights, let the diesel tick itself cool, and stepped down to check my chains. The silence hit me like a wall, no crickets, no wind, just my boots crunching on gravel that sounded too loud. That's when I smelled it. Copper and rot. Thick. Fresh. My flashlight caught the trail first, dark smears leading from the shadows toward the bathrooms, glistening wet under the weak bulb. Not oil. Too thick. Too red. I followed it, heart already hammering. The trail ended at a body. Young woman, maybe 21, 22. Lying face down in the dirt behind the building, one arm twisted wrong, fingers still curled like she'd been clawing at the ground. Her hair was long and blonde, matted with blood. Neck bruised black and purple, fingerprints clear as brands. Eyes wide open, staring at something I couldn't see. But the worst part, her mouth was moving. Just a little. Like she was trying to speak. No sound. No breath fog in the cold. Just those dead lips twitching. I backed away, stomach heaving, and ran for my cab. Locked the doors. Grabbed the CB. Breaker, breaker, this is Desert Dog, westbound I-40 near mile marker 112. Got a dead woman at the rest area. Looks murdered. Need help now. Static. Then a voice, low and dry as bones in the sand. Desert Dog, you sure she's dead? I froze. The voice wasn't coming from the speaker. It was coming from my sleeper. I spun around. The curtain was pulled back. A man sat on my bunk. Tall. Gaunt. Wearing a faded denim jacket and a trucker hat pulled low. His skin was gray, like ash. Eyes milky white, no pupils. A long scar ran from his temple to his jaw, stitched with what looked like baling wire. He smiled. Teeth too many. Too sharp. You woke her up, he rasped. Same voice from the CB. She don't like being seen. I grabbed my tire thumper, swung hard. The tool passed right through him. He laughed, and the temperature in the cab dropped 30 degrees. Frost crawled across the windshield. Been waiting for someone to find my work, he said. Most just drive on by. But you stopped. Outside, the old Mac's headlights came on. No one behind the wheel. The engine turned over with a sound like a dying animal. I threw the rig in gear and floored it. gravel spraying. The Mac pulled out behind me. No hurry. Just matching my speed exactly. 50. 60. 80. The CB crackled again, his voice filling the cab from every speaker. Remember that girl outside Tucumcari? The one with the red backpack? You gave her $20 and told her to get a room. My blood turned to ice. That was 8 years ago. She'd vanished the next day. You did the right thing, he whispered. Letting her go. Some ain't so lucky. In the mirrors, the Mac had no driver. Just those milky eyes staring from my sleeper reflection. I saw the truck stop ahead, big loves, lights blazing like heaven. Cars. People. Cameras. I took the exit at 95, trailer swaying like it wanted to flip. The Mac followed. I slid into the fuel island sideways, horn blaring, doors locked. People came running. The Mac stopped at the edge of the lot. Its door opened. The scarred man stepped out. Walked toward me slow, boots not quite touching the ground. Customers screamed. Froze. One dropped his coffee. He stopped 10 feet away. Tilted his hat. You tell them about me, Desert Dog, he said, voice carrying without the CB now. Tell them Harlan Graves is still running loads. Then he turned, walked back to the Mac, and climbed in. The truck pulled away. Vanished between one blink and the next. State police came. Found the woman exactly where I'd left her. But when they ran the plates on the old Mac from the security cams, registered to Harlan Graves. Died in '93. Rolled his rig off a cliff outside Gallup. Body never found. They found 8 more graves along I-40 over the next month. All young women. All strangled. All with Harlan's wire stitches in their necks. I don't drive nights anymore. But sometimes, when I'm dumb enough to run I-40 after dark, I see him. Parked at the rest areas. Waiting. And on the CB, clear as day. Desert Dog, you alone tonight? The Crimson Ghost. I've been running freight across this country for 15 years now. From the frozen ports of Seattle to the swamps of Louisiana, from the cornfields of Illinois to the pine forests of East Texas. The highway is my church, the diesel my blood. Most nights it's peaceful, just the low growl of 18 wheels and the stars wheeling overhead like slow witnesses. But some nights the road remembers every soul it ever took. It was a late October run, hauling frozen turkeys from Springfield, Missouri to Salt Lake City. I was rolling west on Interstate 70 through the empty heart of Kansas, somewhere past Salina, when the fog rolled in thick as coffin linen. The kind of fog that eats headlights and spits back ghosts. I needed coffee and a piss break, so I pulled into one of those old abandoned rest areas the state forgot to tear down. No lights, no cameras, just a crumbling brick building and a couple picnic tables rotting into the ground. The sign was half missing, letters long gone, only the word rest still hanging crooked like a bad joke. One other rig sat there under the single working lamp. An old blood-red Peterbilt, paint so dark it looked wet. No company name. No DOT numbers. No mud flaps. Just sitting like it had been waiting since the 70s. I shut down, stepped out, and the fog swallowed everything but that red truck. The air tasted wrong, metallic, like I was breathing pennies. I started my walk around, checking straps, when I heard the footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the red rig. A man stepped out of the fog. Tall, 6'6" easy, built like a side-by-side refrigerator. Greased black jeans, flannel shirt hanging open over a gut that had seen too many diner breakfasts. His cap was pulled so low I couldn't see his eyes, just a mouth that smiled too wide, teeth yellowed and sharp. "Evenin', friend," he called, voice like gravel soaked in whiskey. "Mind helpin' a fellow driver?" My alternator's acting up again. We always help each other. That's the rule. I walked over. His hood was already up. Engine bay was immaculate, too clean, like it had never seen a mile. And the smell rolling out of it, copper and earth and something sweet rotting, like meat left in the sun. He leaned in beside me, too close. His breath was ice cold on my neck even though the night was warm. "See anything you like?" he whispered. I glanced into the cab. Passenger seat was piled with rope. Thick. New. Coils and coils of it. Beside that, rolls of silver duct tape stacked like bricks. And on the floorboard, half hidden under a blanket, a woman's cowboy boot. Red leather. Small size. Still laced. Something moved in the sleeper. Just a twitch of the curtain. But I swear I saw fingers, pale, pressing against the inside of the window from the bunk. Nails broken and bloody. I stepped back slow. "Looks like your belt's fine," I said. "Probably just a loose ground." He turned. The light finally caught his eyes. They were black. Not dark brown. Black. No whites at all. Like holes drilled straight through to nothing. "You sure you want to leave so soon?" he asked. "I got a rider back there. Pretty little thing from Wichita. Been real quiet the last 100 miles. The sleeper curtain moved again. A handprint appeared on the glass. Small. Delicate. Smearing downward slow, leaving red streaks. He smiled wider. "She likes company." I ran. He didn't chase at first. Just laughed, low and wet, like a drain backing up. I hit my cab, slammed the door, keyed the ignition. My Peterbilt roared to life just as his did. Headlights came on behind me, red as fresh slaughter, high beams bleeding through the fog like demon eyes. He stayed on my tail for 40 miles. Never more than 20 feet back. Ramming my trailer just hard enough to make the turkeys shift and thud like bodies. His voice came over the CB without him even keying the mic. "Bring her back, friend. She gets lonely when the sun comes up." I saw the convoy ahead, 3 trucks running together, lights blazing through the fog like angels. I fell in behind them. They boxed him. He tried to ram through, but the lead driver, an old boy out of Tulsa named Ray, held the line. State troopers swarmed 10 minutes later. They found the red Peterbilt abandoned at mile marker 298. Driver gone. But in the sleeper they found her. Still alive. Barely. Tied with the same rope. Mouth sealed with the same tape. She'd been missing from Wichita for 3 days. The truck was registered to a man who died in a wreck on that same stretch in 1987. They never found the driver. But I still see that red Peterbilt sometimes. Parked at the edge of fog banks. Waiting. Engine idling low. And if you look close in the sleeper window, you can see her handprint. Still wet. Still reaching.